very confusing thumbnail, and it's not a clickbait. I actually deeply believe that Bloober Team will fail and that the remake is not gonna be good, and it's all because of this hole. Unfortunately, the plot is convoluted, and to explain it to you, I need your time. So please sit down and enjoy my explanation. I'm actually cheerleading for Bloober Team, and I hope they're gonna succeed with this remake. I'm a big fan of Silent Hill, and yeah, the franchise had its ups and downs, but in general, I enjoy most of it. And I think there's no doubt that the best one from all of the series are the one made by Team Silent, and they are also responsible for creating one of the most iconic villain in all the video game history, you might say. Pyramid Head. What a wonderful creation. I believe that even Konami doesn't understand what Team Silent had created. Because you see, in his first appearance in Silent Hill 2, he have the iconic blade. Unfortunately, for example, in a Homecoming, the blade is different. In a movie, the blade is different. And it's a crucial and very, very important detail that a lot of people who are trying to mimic Team Silent are missing. And because that hole is not there, it proves that even Konami doesn't understand the importance of that goddamn hole. One of the most interesting facts about Silent Hill 2 is that whole town is actually representing the thoughts of James. So you could say that actually Silent Hill is just a manifestation of his brain. The places we visit and the people we meet, they are actually created from James' head. This is the place where all of the problems starts. What is a real interpretation of the reality and what is actually real? The streets that we see, are they real? Are they actually 100% recreated from mind of James, or are they maybe just inspired or maybe mixed? That's why we have this amazing fever dream feeling when we play Silent Hill 2. Does the characters that we meet, do they really look like that? Do they really exist, or are they just made from James' head? You can see there is a lot of room for your self-interpretation. I love that. It's a genius way of creating a media, you know, because we as a player, we actually are dropped inside James' head. There are many theories around Pyramid Head. Who is he? Why is he following James? And a lot of people are seeing him as a guilt. Because you see, his blade explains everything to us. That hole in particular. The blade is a part of scissors. The hole is the place for the screw that we can connect and create the scissors. Scissors of who? Of what? Whose scissors? Now, the second part of the scissors also exists in the game. And that's the part that James finds. So this should give you a hint. James and Pyramid Head are actually one person that have been separated for some bad reasons that I won't spoil to you. But James did something bad and he wanted to separate himself. You could even say he wanted to cut himself in half from his past. And that dirty past is represented in the game as a pyramid head. In different cultures, scissors embody a variant of meanings. For instance, in China culture, scissors are tied to the idea of warding off spirits and cutting away negative energy. On the other hand, in Japanese cultures, scissors symbolize cutting off ties or ending relationships with someone negative. And yes, I believe that the look of the pyramid head is actually based in James' head from the museum and one of the paintings that he saw that inspired him to create a monster. Monster that is trying to reach his other half so they can connect and they can be one thing. James, of course, is trying run away from that part. He doesn't want to believe that it's him. James is absolutely rejecting the idea that he is what he is. So he separates himself, he cut himself into parts. So every time you see a pyramid head in whatever movie or whatever spin-off, and someone clearly forgot about this very important hole, is representing lack of knowledge, that somebody doesn't really know what Pyramid Head is and what his purpose was in the game. That is one of the main reasons why I have such a big problem with Homecoming, where Pyramid Head showed up but there is no James, so how can he exist? And why the hell the blade doesn't look like a scissor? Well, because it's not really Pyramid Head. It's something inspired. Somebody looked at it and he had his own interpretation. And that interpretation is just false, is lacking the understanding of the character. Very important character for the series. Everything we see in Silent Hill Town is created from James' thoughts. There are things in the game that we could interpretate, or maybe we're actually over-interpreting at this point. But for example, clothing in the game. What our main characters are wearing. James is wearing a green jacket. That you can see clearly in the remake trailer. It's different. The jacket that James is wearing is actually inspired by a movie called Jacob's Ladder. It's a horror movie that maybe inspired Team Silent to create that jacket, or you could say that James watched that movie and he feels like he's in someone else's skin. Laura and Mary, they're also wearing clothes from a movie, Con Air. Did James base them on those characters because he saw that movie on the TV? Well, we definitely know that James watched a lot of TV because he manifests himself as a dead body watching the TV. Was James also watching MTV Award where he saw Christina Aguilera in her outfit? Maybe he had a crush on her, that's why the outfit, that's why sexualization of Maria. Or maybe Sato, the one who created Maria, was actually in America for a long time and he saw Christina in the TV. Consciously or unconsciously, he just drew what he thought was sexy. Now those things are the things that we could interpretate, and they could be missed in the remake. Now let's go back to the Bloober Team, because you see, my biggest fear, just because James' jacket is different, is that Pyramid Head will not have the hole in the side of his blade. And of course for me as a fan of Silent Hill, that's a big problem, because for me that's a representation of Bloober Team not understanding James. And because they don't understand James, they probably don't understand that the Silent Hill is actually his head. Everything we see is James' thoughts. James is the most complex character in video game history, because we are actually visiting his thoughts, his head, his mind, and most of all, we are visiting his subconscious, his fears, the things that normally are not explored in video game media. If Bloober Team missed some details from the guy's head, they will actually reshape him to a different person. And I think fans gonna be disappointed that it's not exactly the same head. This game is so filled with details, little details that matter so much for us, that Bloober Team is standing in front of extremely difficult task to recreate James' head. It's a task impossible. It's something that I don't think anyone could actually create and satisfy a crowd that have been nitpicking everything from James' head for 20 years. That's why if I don't see this hole inside of that goddamn blade, I think Bloober Team had failed. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, my little hipster video in English. My English is not the best. And of course tell me what is your opinion about this whole situation.